Good evening. I'm the Maven of the Eventide, and welcome back to Vampire Playthroughs. Tonight, we're starting a brand new game, Vampire: The Masquerade, Shadows of New York. With me tonight is the incomparable...
Hi, I'm Paul.
Paul joins me for these games to help make it less monotonous.
I don't know why I found that so funny. It's like, Paul joins me for these games. Anyway.
Basically.
He's just here.
He's here for you to get mad at.
Yeah, I'm the heel of this one.
So we have spent the last 12 months playing Vampire: The Masquerade, Coteries of New York. We have finally... Why are you blowing bubbles in your port wine?
They wanted to hear it. They seemed so enthused when I was eating gummies last time and beef jerky, so why not port this time?
This is not vampire ASMR, Paul.
Tiny bubbles.
Now that we've finished Coteries, we have moved on to the second game in this series. Sort of a sequel, kind of. I am led to understand that Shadows of the New York takes place after Coteries, so all the events of Coteries are canon to it, but this isn't necessarily a sequel. It's not the same people doing the same things. It's new people doing new things in New York in the same world that we learned about in the last game.
Got it. Okay, I'm down.
All right. I've also been told that this game is much better than Coteries of New York, and though we did enjoy Coteries of New York, we did have our frustrations.
The last 10%.
Yeah, the end game was not fun. We did not appreciate the end game.
But I did have a nice long speech with a British accent, so that was kind of cool.
All right, so first impressions. Looking at this load screen, I am loving the creepy skeleton demons in the background. Look at them wavering with their glowing eyes. Gorgeous. I love it. I also like the sexy implied lesbians up front. Yes, gothy lesbians. Please give me all the gay stuff. What are you thinking?
Sorry, what?
Were you distracted by the skeletons?
Well, I am kind of watching the wiggles. It kind of reminds me of the spider webs behind your videos, like when you had to put copyrighted video clips up there.
I wonder if they use the same Adobe Premiere thing that I use to make that happen.
Oh yeah, the skeleton wiggle feature.
Yes, exactly.
The wiggle filter.
So we're gonna start a new game. Welcome to my castle.
That's the moon.
The moon's castle.
The moon castle.
I like that we're zooming in on the moon. Zoom moon. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out the window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality.
It's on the moon.
I've tried to identify the way people reach it, and I'm convinced it has something to do with the moon.
As evidenced by Exhibit A.
Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. You've heard the phrases moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. And so, whenever they let the silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out, like a lunatic. And dance of horrors and marvels begins.
Is this part of the extended universe?
It's 3:31 a.m. Welcome to Big Beat Burger.
Looks like a Shake Shack to me.
If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather round, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together.
With a burger.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they are only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement.
So she's considering that hanging out at a burger joint at 3 a.m. is like the epitome of cool.
Don't you know? She's like one with the moon.
I've been staking out this Shake Shack for years.
They call me the McDonald's monster, the McMonster.
the
Shake
whoa,
Shacker.
oh, the Steak Shack, like steak. No, that
Steak
actually
and
sounds
Shake.
like an actual Steak and Shake. I don't know. That still sounds delicious. All right, continue. I'll think about this.
I'm basically a voyeur, and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'd never otherwise have gathered, and, more importantly, a necessary skill set to make ends meet as a journalist. Oh, I'm a journalist. All right. Should I be doing this in like a noir voice? As I ride on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me.
Oh, it's like when I try to sleep.
Of course, a lot of regular events, such as food fights, are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Do you just are you a food magnet? Does the food just stick to you somehow?
I mean, who does food? Oh, okay.
Up to this day, I've had to wash my clothes because of Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of a improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. I thought you just said they weren't stories to write home about. Make up your mind.
Well, they're not writing home. It's like a blog.
Sometimes this hobby is exhausting. Sometimes it's disturbing.
Sometimes it's pathetic.
Sometimes it's dangerous, although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray.
So, all she's doing is telling us that she likes to sit in this restaurant every night and watch people do food fights.
And write about it on her blog.
Okay.
Still,
Edgy.
The sights I've taken in over the years here have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories, I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu mourning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battle. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress, ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no.
It's setting a scene, but I'm not really picking up this scene.
Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going for it in the corner, hushed moaning filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and to maintain an illusion of normalcy.
The lobby of what? Of the McDonald's?
I guess, you just got two guys having sex in the corner,
this stuff doesn't happen at McDonald's.
It's New York, man. Don't you know New York's freaky and stuff?
Sure. Is this still written by the same group of Polish people who may not have ever been to New York?
I'm guessing so, but I do not know for sure.
This is what Americans do, right? Making out in the McDonald's?
I'm also wondering what neighborhood this is in. Is this Times Square? Is this Hell's Kitchen?
No, this is not the Times Square, the McDonald's.
But this isn't like downtown, and this isn't uptown. So, where is this 24 hours? No, I'm talking about the attitudes of the weirdos that come here.
That's all of New York. Again, you can't pinpoint that.
A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drugged bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint, fully convinced he KO'd himself, while the service worker was just standing next to him. Seemed proud of his victory, too.
Wait, read that again?
The big
guy left the joint, fully convinced he knocked himself out, while the service worker was just standing. Seemed proud. Wait. So
maybe the service worker was a vampire and did some hypnosis on him?
But...
Oh, he was also drugged out, she said, so, yeah. He was just confused on the drugs.
He was convinced he knocked himself out and seemed proud of it. Okay.
Because the little tiny service worker couldn't possibly have done it, so he must have done it to himself.
Why would he be proud if he knocked himself out?
Because he's the only one macho enough to beat himself up.
This is... Okay, we're not off to a really strong start here. I'm already angry.
A middle-aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let Muslims near her food just because she saw a white girl wearing a hairnet behind the counter. Right. She deserved that heart attack.
That tracks.
A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers. They were the hamburglers. Forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said those were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. I'm not familiar
Yes,
with
it
this
wasn't a
external-
robbery. It was a social experiment.
Yeah. This is life.
Is it?
This is humanity at its worst and best. I don't think you can have an accurate scientific sampling from one burger joint. Like, you need to diversify your sample. Like,
And I'm also looking forward to the best portion because,
I think she just, like, lives off this nonsense.
sure, this is a lot of it.
This is the noise that serves as the foundation for my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... Or does she say it out loud? Sigh! As pathetic as it may sound these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Yes, Julia,
Yeah,
that
yes.
sounds very pathetic.
This is the first ounce of truth I've heard in this entire prologue.
Sometimes I think of myself as a leech, feeding on these people's stories, emotions, and personalities just because I'm not satisfied with mine. Maybe you should go somewhere else for a change and you'd have a more interesting life story. Just saying.
Just saying.
Just putting that out there.
Just saying.
At times, I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty postmodern construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt and truthful.
God, she went to art school.
Does this even make any sense? I look at the screen of my laptop. 3:47 a.m. At this point, it's almost somnambulic, but nothing interesting has happened yet. Feels like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for the others to provide a fun diversion.
I mean, she's describing stuff that might happen like a seedy bar, but not the lobby of a McDonald's.
Unless it's like Hell's Kitchen at 3 a.m. I don't know. It
Why do you
depends
keep mentioning Hell's Kitchen as like...
because that's where the restaurants are open 24 hours. It's right next to Times Square, but
Aren't all McDonald's open 24 hours?
no.
Not the lobbies. I'm confused. Maybe that's not like an actual McDonald's. It looks more like... It's called Le Café.
No,
see?
it was called something burger joint. Like
Big-
she gave the name at the
Big boy
beginning.
burgers.
Yeah. But no, in Times Square and Times Square adjacent stuff is open 24 hours. You go
Okay.
further downtown or further uptown, stuff closes.
Okay.
So that's why I'm assuming it's in Midtown. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, go find your own.
Sulking in the corner, claiming ownership of the McDonald's.
I think it's time to call it a night.
Yes.
The coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh. I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. Is it what we just recited?
Feels like 6 hours.
God damn. This is pure trash. At least she's honest.
Yeah.
I hold the backspace button until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate and let out a sound of deep relief. This is how we know this is not a Native American, because we don't call it the Google Documents page. We call it our Google Doc.
G-Docs.
There is no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch you used to be 10 minutes ago? I don't think that's how that works, as a writer myself. I checked the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m., and I have a hunch it's not going to end well.
Well, yeah, you're up till 4 a.m. in a burger joint.
And it's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level despite, 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. So you're a
she's
pessimist.
A narcissist and a pessimist.
Yeah. Click, clack, click, 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 clack. The loud clatter of keyboards assaults me from all sides, making this splitting headache unbearable. Used to be, I dreamed of nothing else but being a part of a New York Lodestar editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly, the first magazine I ever bought for myself. Oh, so is this like a Devil Wears Prada kind of thing?
Oh, okay. I thought we were still in the restaurant or something, but this is actually Lodestar office.
Yeah, she's got her interview at 10 a.m., remember?
Her interview?
Well, she
for the
said
job?
she had a meeting, but she wants to be part of their editorial team, so I'm assuming it's an interview.
Okay.
Context
Why would
clues.
you call an interview a meeting?
Now, simply hearing the word Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood.
Lone Star.
Never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia-level analyses of current events. So she's also a snob.
Only one person would dare give me a raspberry.
Click, clack, click, click, clack.
I got more Spaceballs quotes. Do you want me to keep doing them? That's no.
They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me towards my favorite cigarette brand, for God's sake. Oh, she's a smoker. How is she? I'm assuming she's like Gen Z, like she looks pretty young. I don't know a single Gen Z New Yorker who smokes because smoking is banned in New York unless you're like 40 feet away from a building. But
Well,
there's
also,
no,
a pack of cigarettes costs like $15.
and there's no buildings that are 40 feet away from each other. Yeah, and $15 is really expensive when you're broke.
When was this game made? It's got to be fairly recent. Right?
It was last year.
Really?
Yeah, but it's by Europeans who think everyone smokes.
Oh,
Americans don't smoke.
Henry Margaroise.
Then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neuroses. Some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Dumbasses. So maybe she's not here for an interview. Maybe she's here for a scoop. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for a decade.
Wonder what that feels like. Game.
No wonder the readership is in a free fall. But even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from the outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they will be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that.
I lost track of her metaphor. What is she saying?
That this magazine is very bad, but anyone who tries to fix it gets kicked out real fast.
Okay. Crap sells.
Which she tried to do and apparently got burned by. So I don't know if she used to work here or whatever. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing
Cough, cough.
is Lodestar's editor-in-chief, Brian Ng, the man sitting in front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Managerial duties hit him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical cough like this. He said his piece. Now it's up for me to react, and I'm coming up blank.
Because you weren't listening.
But what do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind, but you still want to go through the motions just to make me feel listened to. Whatever. Let's do this.
I feel like we're picking up in media res here, but we're not sure of what.
How am I supposed to pick one of these? Brian, the guy, is guilty of major fraud. The man is a sexual harasser, Brian. You're protecting a complete
I guess it
POS
doesn't really
here.
matter what we pick at this point. We're just, picking up the story.
I mean, if I'm mad that Brian's protecting him, I guess this is most to the point.
Yeah, go for it. That seems a little bit more on brand for this character.
Now look, I know my article sounds like character assassination, but it's just because the guy gave me enough ammo to make him look like Swiss cheese once the story goes live. My sources are legit. They provided receipts for everything. They faced all kinds of injustices and are crying out for help. So why are you siding with the corporate shithead and not them?
Your sources aren't the problem here. I never said they were.
You're avoiding the core of the issue.
No, I believe I've pinpointed in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now, but we wouldn't be having this conversation.
You look so nebbish for a
He's
Vietnamese
got like
guy.
that sort of nervous anxiety hand ring thing going on.
But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it.
Get real. This is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to make an offer I can't refuse.
What is this about then? Because it looks awfully like...
It's about my bosses telling me that this outlet can't afford the legal action that we have already been threatened with.
So, millionaire interference.
For crying out loud. Julia, don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your story. It's Theo versus Gawker all over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there, until we're blood dry. I have a mortgage. I have 3 mouths waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some...
Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first?
Silence.
Just asking questions.
I know better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you, Miss Sawinski. You're good at them. The problem is you're still not good enough.
Meaning?
You're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative to let facts get in the way.
You've got enough boring suits with no principles on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth.
Except facts can blindside you. And Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put every little thing in question.
Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead.
Julia.
Let me say it again. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not?
This is not...
You've listened to the tapes. You've read the transcripts. You've seen the documents. You've got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Click, clack. Click, clack, click.
Of course I do, but that's beside the point.
It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well there is only one way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed. You prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it. I really do. Yet, for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decisions so that I forgive you? Officially exonerate you?
I'm not the bad guy here, Julia.
This, Julia's badass. What are you then? In your own words.
A man who does what is necessary to protect his own.
So, I don't count as your own anymore? He mutters something under his breath, ending with a self-pitying chuckle.
I don't know if you'd ever want to work under a scumbag like me from now on.
Oh, come on. Don't turn this into a pity party.
No, I'm absolutely a scumbag.
And why is that?
Because I'm firing you. Isn't that what she expected?
No, she expected him to admit he was killing her story for personal reasons and to admit to being a bad guy.
Okay, I thought she just assumed firing was coming.
No, she assumed that her story wouldn't get published.
Oh.
I was just take your story somewhere else. Maybe she's under contract. I don't know. So yeah, she already works here, and her boss doesn't want to publish her expose on the asshole because the asshole has very rich lawyers that will bankrupt this magazine that's already almost done. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, the state of my bank account displays before my eyes with startling clarity. A howling void opens in my chest and starts traveling toward my stomach. No, don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information. Now, there must be a catch. let me get this straight. Ever since we met, I've been working on stories and pieces no one else in your office would touch with a 10-foot pole. Constantly interviewing total nobodies, always busy traveling to the middle of nowhere or regretting my last trip, repeatedly ordered to clean up someone else's mess.
Julia.
All your long-winded spiels about how the disposable work is the most important work, and suddenly you only remember the disposable part?
My feelings about the quality of your work remain the same as ever. It was vital. It kept the magazine going. I will always appreciate it.
Then why would you threaten to fire me?
I would never threaten you. It's a done deal. They've made their decision perfectly clear.
They? What they? Who is they? He glances left and right, then points upward for a short moment. When he speaks up again, it's in a hushed voice.
You know, the big kahunas. Can't really question them. They wanted your head on a silver plate.
So I guess Lodestar is a magazine for hire? Print whatever the millionaires tell you to print? See how it is. He's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking.
I would never joke about stuff like this.
It's real. Fucking hell. It's real. Damn it all to hell! All these years, all this grind, all my plans, and for what? Fucking asshole, you know I deserve better, and I always deserve better, and always with me going down the drain, back to the sewer, fuck! No. Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourselves together. You idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this.
I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause.
No, I mean, it's impossible.
Julia.
You can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put on his, oh, I get it, face, and let out a troubled gasp and start massaging his temples. Lodestar has been my biggest source of income for the past few years. That much is true, but technically, nobody has ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position only served as a kind of a dangling carrot, a promise of decent pay grade, career perspectives, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. And the recognition I would get for being a part of the Lodestar team, a position that everybody around me seems to respect. Aside from me? Why did I want it so much? There will be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care.
You know what I mean. If I let you work, even under a fake name, it would be a guillotine for me.
This is ridiculous. You know, I'm going to start shopping the story around the second I leave this room, don't you?
Of course I know. I told him.
Any response?
Let us worry about that.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click, clack, click, clack, click. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of these loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use.
They must use blues.
Whenever I did my work in here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I try to break in. Vibration in my back pocket. Feels like a bad omen. I decided to ignore it for now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 16 months on and off.
I know.
You kept cheering me on.
I know.
We had even agreed on the pay I'd receive.
I know.
I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait, 2.5? I catch him off guard. He's momentarily taken aback, and he gives me an empathetic stare. Don't you look at me this way. You don't have the right.
I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
Look, if there's anything I can do to help...
If you can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off, I don't think there's a single thing.
Julia,
I pull out a smoke and light up. Gotta get back in control.
please don't do that. There's a smoke detector here.
No worries. Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's ever done in the past 5 years.
Oh, she's actually smoking a cigarette now on her portrait.
Good old Nick. The perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own. Just relies on his purely algorithmic taste to stay likable.
Wonder what that feels like.
I wouldn't know. And the best thing is, it works. Funny. I used to dream about his job. It was Brian who killed this dream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of an investigative journalist instead. Wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at it. Till this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right. Lesson learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead.
Stop it. Nicholas is a good friend. A respected critic, a member of my team, and put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step over me all the time. Why do I even let you act this way?
Because you once told me honesty is more important in a mentor-student relationship, and that it works both ways. Because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes.
At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't even teach you that.
Yeah, this was more like it's like a...
A huff.
The best I can do for now is just stay silent. I don't feel too stable right now. Like I could explode any second.
Julia, I might have failed as a guide, but I will do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but...
Oh, wait a second. Another vibration in my pocket. Another foreboding feeling. This time I reluctantly take the smartphone out of my... Who calls it a smartphone?
My cellular phone.
My mobile. If it has to rain, why not let it pour?
Sorry, my pager's going off. I have to run to my car phone and get it.
A new email.
An electronic mail?
It's a lengthy one. And the sender? Speak of the devil. It's like the Marge Simpson noise. No. This can't be. Christ.
Himself emailed you?
I just got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she's just been laid off from Double Spiral, same as Mike Antonoff and Jared Rivera.
I guess other people working on the same story. What happened?
I'll spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems their HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and use it to shut everyone's mouth. Hell, apparently, Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being a, quote, dumb and careless cunt. Brian goes pale. I think he has a very good reason to. You fucking scumbag. You outed my sources.
What? Of course not. What are you even saying?
Oh, don't you dare play coy. It must have been either you or me, no one else, and you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times just in case, all sorts of red herrings scattered around. I know my shit. You know I do. And this timing? Did you just pass a flash drive to your beloved big kahunas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill?
Look, I get you're upset, but why don't we just talk this through calmly?
Fury takes the wheel, and I'm just here along for the ride. I can't do anything about it. in a deranged way, realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Let's just see it all unfold. Calmly. Fuck you, Brian.
Julia!
I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up, not in a way that would implicate all of them. You thought you could get away with this?
I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me.
So what? You're claiming it's my fault? Because you're never the guilty one? It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have, and now me?
You're being silly. Quit with this martyr bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to...
You immoral shithead! You motherfucking...
Calm down, for God's sake.
And so it goes. I yell out a lot of words I wanted to say for a long time, but held back. I fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping I'd never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in somebody's eyes. It's gonna haunt me for a long time, but in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people, no, this company has nothing left to offer me. So at least let me take this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has to escort me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. I just feel like my world has crumbled into nothing.
I mean, you have every right to, like Jesus. If I were you, I would have already broken down into sobbing mess.
I'd love to, but I'm on the subway. Far too proud to cry in public even now, and... Stupid. I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear just to see my reaction. Like, it was a prank show and someone was waiting to record me crying.
She has paranoid personality disorder.
So, out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever and wherever you are.
That is the most Julia Sawinski thing I've ever heard. Spite is the great motivator, huh?
Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcefully evict me.
Not surprised. Shit. I know whatever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another, but this, too much.
How much is too much? Let's recap this last week of June 2019.
Is Dakota just like in her head?
Maybe she's on the phone?
She's like whoever and wherever you are. It's like some
No, that's
voice.
when she was talking to the universe that was trying to fuck her over.
Oh.
The vast conspiracy, the Truman Show thing that she thought she was on.
Gotcha.
I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired, so let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me, and they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs were shut down. Nobody's replying to my emails. Someone's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked.
I still have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but...
Listen, don't worry about it.
I'm not gonna stand idly by and watch you get canceled by some mean-spirited, delusional...
I said, don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. A call came from Chicago. Apparently, Dad has bladder cancer. Mom is in hysterics. She'd go crazy if she heard about my situation, so I have to pretend everything is okay whenever she calls. And she calls every day. And she just won't hang up before she offloads all her burdens on me. And I can't blame her because we all had to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had, gone. Don't even know when or where it happened, and it's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. So wait, she got pickpocketed?
Well, I think she's just sort of...
No, she's saying her job, like all her documents and money she had on her were robbed just now.
Oh, okay.
That just happened this moment.
I don't know.
The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concerted attack.
Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always hand-wave this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to get through it alone.
I do. I've been a trouble magnet. As self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call.
Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. How is she getting reception on the subway?
Maybe she's in an overground train.
Doesn't look like it. Well, maybe it's dark out.
Yeah. She's like in Queens or something. I will. Thank you. See you. So, like, she has a friend who loves her well enough to be like, if you get kicked out with your landlord, come sleep on my couch. And she's like, no, I must suffer.
I'm too proud.
I guess. I don't know any girl in New York who would be like that. I put my phone away, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever this situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel a bit like a child cosplaying as an adult. Oh, is that why I'm wearing a tie? Should have just followed the dress for the job you want advice and continued dressing up like a trust fund kid who keeps partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world. It's only after a while that I realize the car is empty. Naturally so. I start feeling uneasy, but something enters my peripheral vision.
Snarf.
And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to, I'm out of the subway, standing in a back alley I don't recognize. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting, and I try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet. It's not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't make out her face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous, her tone hateful and mocking.
Aren't you a nasty one?
What's going on? Who are you?
Don't play coy.
My mind goes blank. I look at the ground. There's a body.
Please be your boss.
Riddled with bullet holes.
Or Montgomery.
And I recognize who it was. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers. My source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can feel even the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. My God, am I guilty? How is this real? You have done something to me, haven't you? Back in the subway. That was you, wasn't it?
A man is bleeding out at your feet, and you're turning this around on me somehow.
I haven't done anything to him.
Ken, don't play coy. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He was having none of it. You got mad. Things escalated. He died.
This isn't true. It's plausible, but that doesn't make it true. Or does it? It's just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head, screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living in it. What the fuck have you done to me?
Nothing yet. But I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is a murder in the first degree with special circumstances.
Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me that this can't be real. I refuse to believe this. Before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her. If if I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho.
Oh, you are a psycho. But I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive.
This doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Why are you doing this?
Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of.
There's no two ways about it. She's gonna be nuts. Slowly, but surely, she starts walking toward me. Stop right there or I'll shoot.
Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive, but you would definitely prove you are the monster I claim you are.
What the fuck is this tone? So controlling, inauthentic, patronizing. Serious.
For your own sake, you better be.
She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I'll just wake up. Or maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. I'm gonna shoot her.
Oh, yeah.
I close my eyes and I squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I've done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily puncture a hole in the fabric reality is made of. Never knew I'd be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke.
You were a right choice after all. I'm so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break. But you've crossed the line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you that could become an inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will.
I wonder if the option, if you don't shoot her, is like, yes, you showed the compassion I wanted you to show.
No, she's probably like, you're a big baby, but I'll teach you.
It's just, I bet she justifies it either way, right?
Yeah. Well, otherwise, the story would be very short.
I mean, maybe. It's like an Easter egg to have Endgame too fast. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me.
Nothing personal, kid.
She puts her hands around my waist, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand, but I'm too dazed to protest.
That was your final test. Congratulations. You've proven yourself worthy.
I can feel something sharp slicing into my neck. Oh, am I goth now?
Oh yeah, where's your tie?
Well, she ripped my shirt off, so I guess the
Oh.
tie went with it. Was I wearing this, like, bustier thing underneath it? Or is that my bra? Is it just like a...
It's like a tank top, maybe?
I guess like a camisole kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's not the 90s. Nobody wears those anymore. It's not too painful, just startling. Think a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then it hits me. Pure bliss. The dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried until now suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I have never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It's such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge at least, washing away all my fears, all my sorrows, all my anger, all of my pain, all of my ego. I become one with the world and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs.
Great, so she's going to be a ghoul. It's going to be a boring story.
No, I think she's making me a vampire.
Okay. I mean, conspiracy theory. If she's thinking that somebody is like out to alter her life, it's probably her, so she'll join this whatever. It's like, she's the one I wanted. I'll ruin her life so she has no choice but to become a vampire.
I feel something intense toward her. Something I've never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you, hisses a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh.
It's a strange saying.
Hallelujah. Praise be. When everything is cliche, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up. Just enjoy it. Finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying me. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance for a moment, somehow. This is that same alley from the other game. Remember this alley?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Using assets.
And then, I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No, wait. I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realized that whatever this was, it's over. And I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper which concludes the ceremony.
No matter what happens next, don't forget, you're a monster. But you are lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn that fact. Embrace it.
Title drop!
Oh, I like how it also starts with, like, embrace, because that's, like, the whole vampire thing.
Yes.
Big bait burger.
So, thoughts so far?
Well, I mean, it's just a bunch of character making now, but hey, we're a vampire now. That's cool.
So one of the big differences between this game and the last game is that we don't get to choose our clan or our character.
Yeah, so I guess we're just going to be attached to whomstever is this person's clan.
So we're Julia. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think we're Eventide again.
Well, I don't know. We don't know anything about this person, so...
Well, we know that they kind of discombobulated our mind. They use, like, confusing powers.
I mean, she seems kind of Toreador-ish.
Well, you know, that's because everyone's sexy as a Toreador.
Yeah,
this game
that's
is very
true.
sexy.
But it says it was like a androgynous voice. They made a very specific point of that.
Well, so the last game, you could choose from 3 characters, a Brujah, Toreador, or a Ventrue. And I chose the Ventrue for 2 reasons, mainly because I played a Toreador in Bloodlines.
It was mostly because of the
different.
name. You know that.
No, it was because it was a female character, and I thought I'd be a better voice for that. Because I can do a better female voice than a male voice, I think.
What the other?
No, the other 2 are male
Oh,
characters.
oh, okay. I thought there were 2
But
females.
in this game, you have to play a female character. To me, that's cool. I think female characters are awesome. I'm always for, like, yay, more female characters. But to you, as a not female-inclined person, do you have any feelings about that? Like, being forced to play a female character? How does that feel to you?
No, that's fine. I mean, most of the games I play, I end up picking a female character anyway, because, representation. And besides, if you're going to roleplay, you might as well step outside of yourself, you know?
No, I was just wondering if
Oh.
this game got any flack for the fact that you were forced to play a female character by any of the people who wouldn't want to do that. I know you want to do that because you do that all the
This is like
time.
the role-playing crowd. Like, if they can play, like, a dwarf or a goblin or something, they can play a female character.
A woman, the
Yes,
other race.
The other goblins. I am a woman. 2d6 for wiles.
For feminine wiles. Right, well, I am excited to see more of this game. I want to find out if this vampire who just made me into a vampire is responsible for all of my life being horrible up till now, as you suspected, as a way to, like, drive me towards a vampire. I'm curious, if you have played this game and you chose not to shoot her, what was it like? if you didn't shoot? Do you still get made a vampire? If you don't still get made a vampire, is the game over? Or if you do, is she like, you have passed the test for other reasons? Like, could you pass the test either way? Or is she like, you have failed the test and that's why I made you a vampire?
Do you want to find out right now?
No. I want the comments to tell me.
Oh, okay.
I want the other people watching this video who have played this game to tell me their thoughts and feelings. I'm looking forward to the next segment, seeing where it goes. I like that we had a nice tidy title drop at the end. I'm a monster, but thankfully I was born into a world of monsters. Lucky me! I am now just like one of many, apparently. Part of the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm nothing special. No. Basically, my first lesson as a vampire is I am nothing special. And also, becoming a vampire is very, very sexy and nothing in my life will ever measure up to it. So I've got a life of disappointment ahead of me now. Yay!
You're an addict to the vampirism.
You know how they say, like, if you die the moment that you're happiest in life is, like, the best way to die? Because if you have your happiest moment in life and then keep living, the rest of your life will be a disappointment.
No, but that sounds really depressing.
It's like a philosophy thing. So it's like, you know, when you have your happiest moment in life, that's when you should die. And I wonder if, yes, I was being made into a vampire, so that's why it was so, like, sexy for me. But if a vampire was drinking from a victim and killing that victim, is it that sexy for the victim? So am the vampires, I'm not really one of them yet, are vampires giving the victims the happiest moment of their lives and killing them in the happiest moment of their lives and therefore giving them the most philosophically, like, perfect death they could have?
If that were true, I would have died on our wedding day.
I did not drink your blood on our wedding day. But I could.
You could have, yes. We were all very distracted that day. You said, look.
I'm not going to drink your blood, Paul. Now you've made this weird.
I made this weird 1 hour and 4 minutes and 55 seconds ago.
You made this weird on our wedding day.
I did. I made this weird since I was born.
Well, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to more Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York. We'll see you next time. Until then,
Blah.
good night.
Bye.